Welcome to Classic Books Deep Dive.
Oh, it's great to be here.
Today we're tackling a question that, well, I think has been pondered for centuries. How important is positive thinking? And to get to the bottom of this, we are diving deep into Joseph Murphy's The Power of the Subconscious Mind.
It's such a rich text.
I know.
So many insights there.
So let's start with that then, The Power of the Subconscious Mind.
Okay.
Murphy makes a point that our subconscious is always running in the background.
Right.
And that it influences everything from our everyday actions to even our health.
Yeah.
It's a bit like having a supercomputer
Absolutely.
that we don't even know how to use.
Yeah. It's constantly working,
Right.
whether we're aware of it or not.
And it's determining kind of where we end up.
It really is.
Now, what's interesting is that Murphy compares our conscious mind to the captain of a ship giving orders.
Right, right.
But it's the engine room, the subconscious, that actually carries out those orders and determines where we end up.
It's like the captain might have a plan.
Yeah.
But if the engine's not working, it's pointed in the wrong direction.
Right.
You're not going to get to your destination.
So if we as the captain are giving negative or self-defeating commands, well, that's where we're headed.
That's where you're going to end up, yeah.
Makes you think twice about all those negative self-talk spirals, doesn't it?
It really does. Yeah, you start to realize the impact of those thoughts.
And that's really where
Yeah.
Murphy's emphasis on positive thinking comes in.
Right.
He argues that our subconscious mind doesn't judge our thoughts. It just accepts them.
It doesn't discern between true or false.
Right.
It just takes what you give it and runs with it.
So if we're constantly telling ourselves we're going to fail, well, that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
It does.
He uses the example of the famous opera singer Caruso.
Oh, yes, Caruso.
Who had terrible stage fright.
He struggled with it immensely.
I know. And he talks about how Caruso actually felt his voice failing him.
Right.
Due to the fear.
Right, because of that fear response.
And then Caruso had this incredible realization that he could talk to his subconscious.
Talk directly to it, yes.
He mentally separated his fear, calling it the little me.
That's right, the little me, representing his doubts and anxieties.
From his powerful, inner drive.
The big me, the part of him that knew he could sing, that had the talent and the desire.
And he told that little me to step aside.
That's right.
Because the big me wanted to sing.
He basically commanded his fear to take a back seat.
So that's how he overcame his fear.
That's how he was able to perform.
Wow.
It's a really powerful example of how we can use our minds to overcome limitations.
Okay, so are we talking about like a self-hypnosis? Like intentionally feeding positive thoughts into the subconscious?
In a way, yes. Murphy called it autosuggestion. But it's essentially about consciously and repeatedly feeding those positive ideas to the subconscious. It's like planting seeds. If you plant seeds of doubt and fear, that's what's going to grow.
Yeah.
But if you plant seeds of confidence and success, well, those will flourish.
And I know that he has some pretty compelling examples of this in action.
Oh, yeah, many.
Like I'm thinking about the story of the singer who used affirmations to overcome stage fright.
Yes, that one's a classic.
And the man who banished his bad temper by consistently picturing himself as calm and good-humored.
It's all about retraining the subconscious mind to respond differently to situations.
But what about, all those negative messages that we pick up, especially during childhood?
That's an important point.
And
because those early experiences can really shape our subconscious beliefs.
Can we overwrite them?
Murphy believed we could.
Okay.
He acknowledged that those early negative suggestions can have a lasting impact. But he was adamant that we have the power to counteract them.
So it's about recognizing those patterns.
Yes, becoming aware of them.
And consciously replacing them.
With more empowering beliefs.
He uses the phrase, as within, so without.
That's one of my favorites from the book.
Yeah.
It highlights the interconnectedness of our inner and outer worlds.
Right, meaning our inner world creates our external reality.
Whatever we impress upon our subconscious mind, it's going to be expressed in our experiences and the events of our lives.
You focus on lack and limitations.
Right.
That's what you're going to get more of.
You're essentially training your subconscious to seek those things out.
But if you focus on abundance and opportunity,
you'll start to notice and attract those instead.
And he even has a kind of unsettling story.
Oh, yes.
About this.
A bit of a cautionary tale.
It's about a man who went to a fortune teller. And she predicted he would die on the next new moon.
Oh, dear.
Now, this man was perfectly healthy.
Right, but the power of suggestion can be strong.
But he became so fixated on the prediction
He let that fear take root in his subconscious.
that he started making preparations for his death.
Oh, no.
He was telling everybody,
as if it were a certainty.
withdrew all of his money from the bank.
He was essentially programming his mind for that outcome.
And then on that day,
Oh, my.
he died.
It's a tragic illustration of the power of belief.
So even a false belief can become true
It seems that way.
if we give it enough power.
It's a bit unsettling, isn't it?
It is.
It highlights how potent our beliefs can be.
But on the flip side,
Yes.
if we can manifest those negative outcomes through belief, just imagine what we can achieve with positive, empowering beliefs.
That's the exciting part.
So it really is a question of what reality we want to create.
It is about making a conscious choice.
Wow. Okay, so we know the subconscious mind is incredibly powerful
It really is.
and that we need to feed it positive instructions.
Right. It's like giving it the right fuel.
But how do we actually apply this to our lives? You know,
That's the key question.
like to finding happiness
Right.
or achieving our goals.
How do we translate this knowledge into practical action? It really is, yeah. It's about understanding how to harness that power.
So how do we do that?
Well, Murphy offers some fascinating techniques for bridging that gap,
Okay.
between our conscious desires and those subconscious beliefs that might be holding us back.
Like I'm thinking about that story of the woman who visualizing taking down the for sale sign.
Oh, right. The one who found a buyer for her house the next day.
It seemed like magic.
It did, didn't it? But it was really the power of her subconscious mind at work.
So she created a mental picture
A vivid one, yes.
and truly felt the emotions of having achieved that goal.
And that's key. It's not enough to just think about it. You have to really embody it.
Okay, so this mental movie method, as he calls it,
Right.
can be applied to any area of life.
He believes so, yes. Whether it's finding the right job or attracting a specific item or even achieving a health goal.
So it's not just about picturing it, it's about
It's about immersing yourself in that vision,
healing it.
engaging all your senses, see it, hear it, feel it, really bring it to life in your mind.
But is it a one-time thing?
Well, think of it like building a house,
Okay.
It takes time, effort, and consistent action.
Right.
It's the same with imprinting something on the subconscious.
Yeah.
The more you replay that mental movie, the deeper the impression it makes, and the more likely it is to manifest in your reality.
Okay, so it's about consistent practice
It is.
and really like immersing yourself in the vision.
That's the key.
Does he have any examples of, people who have achieved extraordinary things?
Oh, he does. Many, actually. One that comes to mind is about a man who desperately needed a car for work, but just couldn't afford to buy one.
Oh.
So instead of dwelling on his lack, he started vividly visualizing himself driving this car, feeling the steering wheel, hearing the engine, even smelling that new car scent.
Wow.
He really committed to that vision.
He did.
And what's amazing is that within a few weeks, a friend unexpectedly offered to sell him a car at a price he could actually afford.
It's like he attracted it.
He did. It was like the universe rearranged itself to match his mental picture.
So we've got visualization.
Right.
And then there's affirmations too, right? Like Mr. Broke.
Ah, yes, Mr. Broke. A perfect example of how affirmations can work wonders.
And it's about changing our inner dialogue.
Yes, shifting it from one of lack to one of gratitude and abundance.
So if you want to achieve something, you should affirm it as if it's already happened.
That's the idea. But the key is to not just mechanically repeat the words, You have to genuinely feel the emotion behind them as if they were already true.
So it's about embodying the feeling
Exactly.
of already having what you desire.
And remember, the subconscious doesn't differentiate between what's real and what's imagined. So if you can genuinely believe in your abundance, even if it's not yet reflected in your bank account, you'll start to make choices and attract opportunities that align with that belief.
Okay, but what about those times
Yeah.
when negative thoughts creep in?
Ah, yes, the inevitable negative thoughts.
Even when we're trying to stay positive.
That happens to all of us.
How do we deal with those?
That's where forgiveness comes in.
Okay.
Murphy was very clear about the importance of forgiveness,
Right.
Said that holding on to resentment, anger, or guilt creates blockages in our system. It's like a dam holding back a river, preventing that natural flow of energy.
Forgiveness is about clearing those blockages.
Precisely. And it's not just about forgiving others, but also ourselves.
Right.
We all make mistakes, and holding on to that guilt and shame just weighs us down.
So it's about letting go
It is.
of the past.
Yes. And choosing peace instead.
He even compares like life itself to a forgiving force.
He does. Think about it. Our bodies heal from injuries. Nature regenerates after a storm. There's this inherent drive toward wholeness and harmony.
And when we align ourselves with this forgiving force,
we unlock incredible power.
I'm thinking about the story he tells about the woman who was betrayed by her brother.
Oh, yes, a heartbreaking story.
He really took advantage of her.
He did, and initially she was consumed by anger and resentment.
So then
she had a realization that holding on to those feelings was only hurting her.
Okay.
She chose to forgive her brother, not for his sake, but for her own peace of mind.
Wow, so she
did. She even started praying for him, genuinely wishing him well.
Even though he had wronged her.
She did, until she felt a true sense of peace and forgiveness.
But how does this connect with the subconscious?
Well, Murphy believed that harboring all that resentment blocks the flow of creative energy from the subconscious mind.
Okay.
So by forgiving, we're removing that dam, allowing that creative force to flow through us.
So it's a practice.
It is an ongoing commitment to releasing negativity and embracing the power of love and compassion.
Okay, so we've got visualization, affirmations, and forgiveness.
Powerful tools indeed.
Are there any others?
Well, he also talks about the power of sleep and dreams, He believed the subconscious is particularly receptive during sleep,
You mean our minds are still working?
Oh, absolutely. Even when we're asleep.
Even while we sleep?
He even encourages using that time for problem solving, Like, before you drift off, clearly define the problem you're wrestling with and ask your subconscious mind to work on it while you sleep.
And he has a story about this too, doesn't he?
He does. About a man struggling with a design flaw in a new machine, couldn't figure it out.
Okay.
Decided to take a nap, focused on the problem before falling asleep, and in his dream.
Wow.
The perfect solution was revealed to him. Woke up, sketched it out, and it worked perfectly.
So our dreams can provide solutions.
That's what Murphy believed. They can offer insights and solutions that we might not have access to in our waking state.
It's like our subconscious is working on things behind the scenes.
Exactly.
Wow, so this is a lot to take in.
It is, but it's empowering to realize that we have this incredible power within us.
And we often don't realize it.
That's the tragedy, isn't it? We limit ourselves with doubts and fears.
Yeah. So how do we unlock this power then?
Well, it starts with self-awareness. Paying attention to your thoughts, the beliefs you hold. Are they serving you? Are they aligned with what you want to achieve?
If not,
then consciously choose to replace them.
And then start planting those seeds of desire.
Through visualization, affirmations, forgiveness, working with your dreams.
Wow, it's like cultivating a garden.
It is, nurturing those positive thoughts and beliefs until they take root and flourish.
This is so insightful. It feels like a whole new way of thinking.
It is. It's about recognizing the power we have to create the lives we truly desire.
It really is a whole new way of thinking, isn't it?
It is. It's about understanding that we are not just, victims of circumstance.
Right.
But that we are active participants in creating our own reality.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot of powerful techniques.
We have.
But I'm curious about how we can apply all of this to achieving specific goals.
That's a great question, because one of the key things that Murphy emphasizes is that success in any area, really, starts with aligning your conscious desires with your subconscious beliefs.
So if there's a conflict,
if they're not in harmony,
the subconscious is always going to win.
It will. It's like that ship captain again, giving orders, but the engine room is taking the ship in a completely different direction.
So how do we get the captain and the engine room on the same page?
Well, we've talked about visualization,
right?
Affirmations, working with dreams, practicing forgiveness.
So it's about feeling the reality of that desired outcome.
It is. It's not enough to just think about it.
You have to feel it.
You have to feel it as if it were already true.
So if I'm visualizing success,
I need to actually feel the joy and the sense of accomplishment.
You do. The emotion is the key. It's like a magnet that draws the desired outcome into your reality.
And he tells a story about this.
Oh, he has a great one about a man who was in a Russian prison camp during World War II.
Okay.
And he was determined to escape.
And it seemed impossible, right?
It did. Heavily guarded. The odds were stacked against him.
But he had this burning desire for freedom.
He did.
And he focused on visualizing himself walking the streets of Los Angeles.
A place he'd always dreamed of visiting?
He visualized being in Los Angeles while he was in a prison camp.
He did. He would close his eyes and imagined himself walking down Wilshire Boulevard, visiting stores, even driving a car.
Wow. So he made it so real in his mind.
So real, he could practically feel the California sunshine on his skin.
What happened to him?
Well, one day, a small opportunity for escape presented itself.
Okay.
And he took it, slipped out of the camp unnoticed, and eventually made his way to Switzerland. Did he ever make it to Los Angeles?
Years later, he did. And, he said that as he drove down Wilshire Boulevard, it was exactly as he had pictured it in his mind.
It's amazing.
It is.
The power of the mind.
It is. And it just goes to show that when you combine that burning desire with vivid visualization and a deep feeling of the desired outcome, incredible things can happen.
So we really can shape our destiny.
We can. We're not just passive recipients of fate.
Now I'm thinking about how we can apply all this to different areas of life, like career success.
Of course.
I think a lot of people struggle with that.
They do. And again, Murphy believed that success in any field starts with aligning those subconscious beliefs with our conscious desires.
So like, if you want to be a doctor,
right,
but you don't believe in yourself,
you doubt your abilities, fear failure.
Yeah, those beliefs are going to hold you back.
They will. It's like self-sabotage.
But if you replace those negative beliefs
with affirmations of confidence and competence, your subconscious mind will start working to create opportunities for you.
So he's suggesting to visualize yourself excelling in your field.
He is. Feel the satisfaction of helping others, the pride of achievement, the respect of your colleagues.
It's like setting your internal GPS to guide you toward career success.
I love that. And he also emphasized, pursuing work that you're passionate about, not just chasing money or prestige.
Find something that brings you joy.
Yes, find something that resonates with your soul.
And he also talks about improving memory.
He does. He has a great story about a student who was really struggling with exams.
I can relate to that.
I think we all can.
Exam stress is the worst.
It is, but this student, he discovered this technique.
Okay.
He started visualizing himself receiving top marks, feeling that pride and satisfaction, and, he aced all of his exams.
So visualization can actually boost your brain power.
That's what Murphy believed, that the subconscious mind is a storehouse of knowledge and potential.
We can tap into it?
We can. We just need to use the right techniques.
And what about relationships?
Relationships, such an important part of life.
I think a lot of people.
So many people struggle with this.
Yeah, finding the right person.
And Murphy believed, that the quality of our relationships reflects our subconscious beliefs.
So if we're carrying around beliefs of unworthiness
or fear of rejection,
we're going to attract partners who reinforce those beliefs.
We might, but remember, we have the power to change those patterns.
By changing our beliefs.
By changing our beliefs, use visualization.
Okay.
Affirmations to attract the kind of partner you desire, someone who is loving, supportive, aligned with your values.
So focus on those qualities.
So focus on them. Visualize yourself in that happy, fulfilling relationship.
Feel the joy, the security, the excitement.
And your subconscious mind will start attracting people who match that description into your life.
So it's really about creating the right kind of relationship.
It is. And, he also talks about the importance of gratitude in relationships.
Right. Appreciating what you have.
Expressing your love and appreciation regularly.
Open communication.
Absolutely. Expressing your needs and desires, listening attentively to your partner.
It has been such an eye-opening conversation.
It has.
It feels like we've uncovered a whole new way of thinking about ourselves and the world.
I think that's the beauty of Murphy's work. It challenges us to look within, understand the incredible potential we have.
And to use that power to create the life we desire.
To create a life filled with purpose, joy, and fulfillment.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your insights on this deep dive. It's been an incredible journey.
It really has.
And to our listeners, we encourage you to explore Joseph Murphy's work.
Yes, do it.
And discover the incredible potential within you.
The power is within you.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the power of the subconscious mind.